Roberto De Zerbi on Tottenham's 2-1 win against Aston Villa, Spurs players shortlisted for the Team of the Week, and Javi Simons posts on Instagram. Here are your daily Tottenham headlines. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Lee and this is another episode of the Daily Tottenham News Headlines. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel, like, share and comment in the comment section below. If you're listening on audio platforms, please hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. So, moving on to today's headlines, Roberto De Zerbi on Tottenham's 2-1 win against Aston Villa. Not surprised, no, very pleased. I'm very happy because when you work with young people and you can see the improvement, you can see they start to believe in themselves more and more. You are happy, no? Yes, you can improve in the style of play with the ball, without the ball. The most important thing for Tottenham, I think, has been to transfer the confidence to believe in themselves. I like my players. I think they have different level than the fight for the relegation. Roberto De Zerbi on if he sees a different mentality. Absolutely. With the high pressure, we are used to speaking about football, high pressure, but what is right pressure? Right pressure is organisation, but courage, mentality, spirit, the right attitude to go and regain the ball and to go to score. With the ball, especially in the first half, we showed our qualities. Palhinha and banter in midfield were fantastic. I'm really pleased for Kolo Muani and Matisse Tell because they played a fantastic game. I'm pleased for the goal of Richarlison. Gallagher, when Gallagher plays this level of performance, we played with 12 players because you can find him everywhere on the pitch. Pedro Porro and Udogie, I think they have the first level in the world. So I'm very happy. It has now been confirmed that Spurs under-21s will face Brighton and Hove Albion in Friday night's Premier League 2 playoff semi-final at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Wayne Burnett's side progressed to the high-profile date in N17 after a superb 3-1 win at Chelsea last Friday night. Following Brighton's 3-0 home victory over 10-man West Ham United in the quarter-final clash on Monday, we now know we'll be facing the Seagulls for a place in the final. Kickoff will be at 7 p.m. Conor Gallagher has been shortlisted for the Premier League's Player of the Match week after his standout performance in our win over Aston Villa on Sunday. The midfielder was everywhere in the middle of the park and made his mark by rifling in his first Spurs goal to give us an early lead as we went to secure a 2-1 success at Villa Park for back-to-back league victories. Starting all 4 games since Roberto De Zerbi took charge, Conor has been playing with a renewed energy in recent weeks and delivered his best performance in our colours at the weekend, by his own admission, since his January move from Atletico Madrid. Mickey van der Ven and Conor Gallagher have both been named in Alan Shearer's Team of the Week, and Roberto De Zerbi has been named as Manager of the Week. And finally, Javi Simons posted some photos on the Instagram after his surgery and said the following: "I went missing on a mission, just perfecting my craft. Intro done, now we rise." So, really interesting to see the comments from Roberto De Zerbi, the fact that he's really pleased with some of the players and in the terminology he uses, especially around mentality and belief, and players being better than a relegation team. It's really different from what we've seen, certainly with Igor Tudor, where he was constantly talking about so much being wrong, and there being major problems, not just on the pitch, but overall. And he was always implying that this was a mentality problem, an ingrained problem, a problem that's been going on behind the scenes, higher level than just the players. But I'm not sure what he was trying to do to change that, because what he did, in my view, was pretty much build on that, build that pressure, build that concern that there was too much going on and too much to overcome in this short period of time. Whereas with De Zerbi, that's been totally different. His attitude has been very much positive, positive, positive. Playing Kolo Muani when everybody, including myself, have been saying, he's not good enough. He's not a Premier League player. He may do well in France. He may well do well in Italy or Spain or wherever. But certainly from the Premier League's point of view, he's not shown anything to suggest that he's good enough for this team. But actually, at the weekend, he showed some real positive running, some real positive work rate, and so on. He did start to flower towards the end, and his final product was not always there. But being an outlet all the way through that game was clear to see. He worked really, really hard. He got an ovation from the fans as he left. He gave the Aston Villas a nice little, 2-1 or 2-0 at the time, a gesture to kind of build it up. And then he was kind of whooping up the fans and everything and high-fiving them, showing his appreciation, I guess, back to the fans that had showed their appreciation to him. They were clapping and applauding and cheering his name, which was good to see. You never want to see one of your own players getting lots of hate, but it happens, right? I mean, we've seen it even with Kevin Danso getting all that racist hate, which is interesting. I wonder how many of those people were actually applauding Kevin's performance against Aston Villa following that abuse that he received 2 games ago. So yeah, it'd be interesting. Maybe they'll have a bit of a think about that for 5 minutes. Anyway, yeah, Kolo Muani, he's shown his faith. De Zerbi's shown his faith in Muani, telling him he believes in him, going for lunch with him, talking him up, telling him what he can do, and so on, building that confidence in the player. And I think you can see that. And again, Conor Gallagher, his comments about Conor Gallagher being like having 12 men on the pitch, Bentancur and Palhinha playing there, being really solid in there. And, he's talking about all of his players, building all of those players up. So I think it's a really positive way of going about that. And the comments from the players suggesting that it's made all the difference and that they, really happy with De Zerbi coming in, kind of shows really that he's put his faith in them, he's put his belief in them, and he's telling them what they need to hear, showing them that level of love, which is, I think, something we'd all been talking about, the fact that there was no love for the players. It was all about discipline and so on. Because if you take it all the way through this season, Thomas Frank seemed to lose the dressing room. They had no respect for him. They had no belief in what he was trying to do. You could see that. You then moved to Igor Tudor, who was very much a disciplinarian. This is where we need to do. You need to focus on this. That wasn't working either. And like I've said previously, I think today's young men, not just young men, but in this context, they don't just respond to that iron fist. The days of being able to shout and put pressure on people is long gone. Now there needs to be a balance of that. You need to call it out when it's not right and explain why. You need to put an arm around. You need to cover all of those things. So man management is a massive thing now. And you've either got it or you haven't. It's not, man management is not something you can teach. So yeah, a little bit positive now with De Zerbi coming in. Of course, as well, they know he's there for the long term. That's what he said. Stay up, go down. I'm there. We're going to build. We're going to improve. And so, fingers crossed, ENIC actually get behind this project itself and give the manager what he needs, and maybe build on that amongst the youth teams, the under 21s, the coaching style, and so on and so forth, and then kind of build it forward. So, great comments from him. Pleased for him, back-to-back wins, first time I think since August. So amazing to see that, get ourselves out of the bottom three, and the pressure then goes on to against the blokes down the road, and fingers crossed that we get a positive result out of that one way or the other. But if Tottenham worry about their own performances, worry about their own results, it doesn't matter what anybody else does. We're in the driving seat now. It's up to us to keep that momentum. It's not going to be easy. Leeds are not going to be easy. Chelsea is definitely not going to be easy. Even though we saw Nottingham Forest rip them apart, I suspect they will up their game come the match against Tottenham at Stamford Bridge. They will really want to win that for obvious reasons. Moving on, seeing Conor Gallagher named in the match week. It's funny, isn't it? All this season, even though we've had some really difficult times, some really negative performances and stuff, we've had so many of our players named in match week, player of the week and goal of the month and save of the month and all of that kind of stuff. We've had so much of that this season, and yet we still find ourselves in a really precarious situation. So really pleased for him. It's a good bit of positivity for a player who's coming, who's not really hit his levels yet. Now he's had that performance. He's scored his first goal. The monkey's off his back. Can we unleash the Conor Gallagher that we wanted to buy before he went to Atletico Madrid? So we'll see where that takes us. But yeah, it's great to see him getting that little bit of recognition and kind of move on. It was interesting as well, Alan Shearer saying that Conor Gallagher named in his team of the week. Okay, I understand that. But Mickey van der Ven as well. Mickey did have a really good game, but it's the first game he's played really well for a while. It's been really frustrating seeing him not perform when he really should do, and we know the levels he can get to. But yeah, that game really showed something. So I'm not sure whether something's changed in terms of his relationship with the manager, with the team, or what. I don't know what changed, but certainly his performance was so much better. And De Zerbi named as the manager of the week, which is really, it's crazy, isn't it? When you see all of the negative comments from people like Simon Jordan and some YouTube guy, Rory Jennings or something, he was talking about, having Emery up against the Hague for crimes against football and stuff like that. And you think to yourself, everyone's saying that Villa threw the game. When in reality, I don't think Tottenham let them in. I think they were shell-shocked by the level of aggressiveness, the constant running, the chasing down, the closing down, the passing and the movement. I think it took them by surprise, and I think it took them a while to really get into the game. So I don't think Villa decided that they weren't going to bother in this game. I think they were hit by, none of us saw this coming. So for Villa fans, for Villa players, I think it was probably a massive shock to them to see that as well. So I think we're being unfairly kind of spoken about, in disrespected, as per usual, by the media, by rival fans. That's what happens when you're a club like Tottenham. Everyone wants us to go down because it's a big news story. All the small teams in the Championship want to come to White Hart Lane and play us. You can understand it, but I think for Tottenham to go out of this league would be a big hit to the Premier League. You're going to lose the North London derby, for instance, which is, for me, one of the biggest derbies in the league. I think the feeling against Spurs is real, but I don't think they recognise how much of an impact losing Spurs would be to them. Bearing in mind we're on TV pretty much every week, so it must pull in plenty of viewers. So anyway. And finally, the little comments from Javi Simons. Everyone was going a bit mad recently when Javi Simons cleared his Instagram account of every photo and everything else. And all of a sudden it started coming back again, and he's posting pictures of his post-surgery with his rousing comments. I went missing on a mission, just perfecting my craft. Intro done, now we rise. Implying, I guess, that he's started. He's on his way. Get this out of the way. The surgery and the rehab, and let's see how he rises from that, which would be fantastic because he is a real talent. And let's just hope that he can get back to his very, very best and have an impact on Spurs going forward. So that's it. That's it for today. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Alina Dorset Spur. If you've liked what I've done here today, please do give this episode a thumbs up, like, share, and comment in the comment section below. It'd be good to know your views on these stories and anything else you'd like to talk about. If you're listening on audio platforms, please do hit the follow button and leave a review if you can. As I said, my name's Leader Dorset Spur. I do have my own channel, and you can find my daily content even over there, talking about all things Spurs. Heading towards 2,500 subscribers, really pushing on that now. I'm getting closer and closer and closer. 2,500 by the end of the season would be fantastic for an old fella like me. So thanks for watching. As always, I'll leave you with this: up the Spurs.